Opposed? All right, recognitions.
Every year, it's always amazing. Well, people just don't know about school stuff. They think that, come when the kids leave, it's all relax and just sit around and drink pina coladas all day long. Well, Mike does do that. But during the summer is the real push time. So I want to recognize the achievement and the work, good hard work of a variety of people. The central office people, deep hard work taking place because of processing all these orders, finishing out the fiscal year, and we're in the midst of changing our software program, so that makes it a lot more challenging than normal. Maintenance is out taking care of a variety of different projects we've got going on. I'll give you an update on that here in just a little bit. Janitors are working way ahead as far as doing the cleaning of the buildings, getting them ready for the return in August. And food service, we do the free food service program. And in Monica's report, you'll see it that already, well, as of May, they served 332 breakfasts and 515 lunches. And so that's great. I mean, because we weren't so sure, since we're not doing summer school at the elementaries, what kind of we'd have, what kind of patronage we'd have. But 515 kids wanted to come over and eat lunch. So that's pretty darn good. So those are all celebrations.
All right. Let's see. We have no public. Well, before we do that, why don't we go ahead and talk to Mike about the financials?
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah. I'm all over the place tonight. We're back to basement.
Okay, on page 1 of the warrant, kind of in the middle, curriculum associates for some curriculum materials, $92,038.55. And then on page 2, down towards the bottom, Lee Construction, we made 2 different payments to them for the restroom concession stand. One was $289,215, and the other one was $77,310. So if you add those 3 in, it's about $458,000. That's why our warrants are this month are $741,747.72. They're on page 5. And then on page 6, our revenue expense accounts are looking good. We did get the final payment from the county this last week, but that's not in this report yet. And then on page 7 is our fund expense summary, and we're looking good there to end the year. And then behind that's the transfer. And then we got the middle school report, and then I give you the high school report on your desk. So if you have any questions.
I do want to point out on the curriculum expenses, with the basically anything we've purchased through for curriculum this year is coming out of ESSER money. And so what that's doing for us is that will stoke the coffers of the instructional materials fund. And so that's a really good thing that we're choosing to go about it that way, because hundreds of thousands of dollars now ESSER is paying for the curriculum, which, once again, that buys us time through the years when we have major curriculum adoptions.
So, Mike, how much more do we have to Lee Construction? About 500 more to pay?
Sounds about right, yeah.
Fat man chairs here.
All right. And if there are no more questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials at $741,747.72.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan Ruda and Ryan Schreibvogel. Been moved and seconded to approve the financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. No public patron concerns. Administrative reports. Dr. Meyer.
I've got a couple 4 things to talk to you about. Update on capital projects. The chiller is I think it's my friend for life, the chiller project. I don't want it to end, and so I don't think it will. Now they're waiting on the J-hook lift to come out and move the compressors. Remember, the compressors got built incorrectly, and even though passed the test when they sent it off to wherever they sent it off to. Well, now they're supposed to, even if they don't have it here in time, his name is Garrett, has been basically laid down the law to him and said, we don't care. This has got to be done by the end of June. And so if the J-Hope doesn't show up, I guess they'll send enough army of people to lift them and move them. So we'll get that done finally. Next one that's kind of hanging out, the well. The parts are in Wichita. They've been there for a week, but they're not here because we're waiting for the schedule for the transportation. Our people who've hired to do the work, they're chomping at the bit. They want to get it done, but they don't schedule the 18-wheelers. Now, in my ignorance, the other day when Garrett and I were talking about it, I said, well, let's just go pick it up. He laughed at me. I said, no, it takes an 18-wheeler to do this. So thankfully, we've had rain. It's a good thing. And eventually it'll get here in, 3 days after we get it here, it'll be going? Yeah. The suppression system was that gift project we decided to take on at the end of the year when we lost our suppression system at the high school. They're coming along on that. That'll be done by the end of the month. And we started today the digging out of the parking lot in the elementary school. Got it all rolling. We didn't start digging things out. We're rototilling up the parking lot over there. Then we'll dig it out. Then we're going to dig out over here, and we will have permanent fixes for the parking lot will be done just south of Wiley. And then the parking lot, the playground here should be in far better shape in the future. We've been waiting on that grant, received the grant to Wiley, and we've just not received it in the last 3 or 4 years. So we're going to fix it this way. We'll put down a permanent weed barrier. It'll lower the level so the mulch won't be going out onto the concrete when it does rain. So it's a coming. So those projects are all coming along. And the concession stand is, slowly but surely, I think it's on time. It's coming along. The non-resident student enrollment process has begun. If you recall, this is the one where we set the capacity numbers. As of this moment when we speak, 15 students have started the process. 15. I've asked the principals, they go off contract. Their last day of contract is Friday to make the determinations before they leave on the ones who have come in. Now, they can't do it if the paperwork's missing. And so if there's paperwork missing, then they're just not going to be approved ultimately. Come the 16th, this process turns into the central office. And so then I'll rolling dice saying, yeah, you get in. No, you don't. No, we'll follow the rules. And we'll see where we get on the capacity. Just as I have all along been worried on this thing, we've got 15 kids. That's no big deal. But there's a critical mass of them in 7th grade. And so what if they continue to get more and more 7th grade? We could pop that capacity, the whole capacity thing. We won't know till June 30th. And then we've got to let the people know that they are not in, if they're not in, by July 15. So we're all over it. We're taking care of it. A silver lining, a good thing. We're still working toward the path of the 363 Garden City Community College welding program. And just an update for you. We've not signed anything, but I'm thinking we'll have an MOU come next month, which will actually start to define, all right, who's going to be the project manager, how's this going to get done, the work itself. Right now, we are committed to $120,000 to get this puppy launched. My thinking on it, there's no way in God's green earth it could be done by August. There's just too much work to be done. But that doesn't matter. Even if it gets done in January, we'll start offering classes. Eventually, this will be CTE funded. As we speak, we have double the number of kids who we're serving wanting welding. So that's exciting. So, you build it, they will come, that sort of thing. So we're moving along on this. We'll have an MOU next week, I hope. Or next month, rather. One other thing just to mention to you, every year we go on a leadership retreat, and I think it's the most important professional learning experience I take part in every year. Given the fiscal crunch of the health insurance and also the P&C insurance, we're not going to go to Colorado. In fact, Ryan is going to host us over at Garden City Community College in his conference room across the hallway. So we're still doing the retreat, but it's just going to be over there.
Not going to Hawaii this year?
Not going to Hawaii this year. Dang it. Thought we should. Anyway, that's what's going on, Mr. Jones.
All right, thank you. We will move to buildings and grounds and Garrett.
Nothing further.
Okay, transportation, Sam.
Nothing from Sam or
Okay,
Monica.
food service or Monica. All right, so technology, Julie, or
She's walking in.
here comes Julie.
Anything extra, Julie?
Nothing further, but Matt's here tonight, so we thought we would introduce the board to Matt Schwartz, our
welcome.
Welcome.
Man, I think I could take you in arm wrestling, but I'm not gonna try it tonight. Next week. Welcome.
Welcome,
Glad
Matt.
you're here.
All right, let's move to principals and Mrs. Albright.
As soon as we wrapped up the school year, the very next day, our custodial staff and maintenance crew came in and started tearing up our flooring and moving furniture and all the things. So I think the north end of our building is pretty much cleaned and nearly ready to go for the school year, so that's amazing. And Garrett and his guys have been working very hard on the flooring on the south end. We decided just to do the south end this summer, and then we'll do the north end next summer because over Christmas break, it kind of ended up being a little more of a project than what he had thought. So we said, let's just focus on one end with all the other things going on, and then we'll do the other end next year. But it looks great. I think maybe just a few final touches are lacking on it. So all the south end classrooms have new tile in it. So it's awesome. It doesn't have, it's less maintenance, doesn't have to be waxed every year and things like that. So it looks great, and we're very thankful for all their hard work. So things are coming right along.
Thank
Thank
you, Amy.
you. All right, Mrs. Tyne.
Just to go along with that, over at Holcomb Elementary, we've got some painting going on. So that crew's been working hard. They're doing a great job. Just kind of touching up some places, and also it's hard to touch up when you have so many different colors of white. So they've been trying to kind of unify that, and then we'll keep it with our paint colors so that we know what color of white we're using. So yeah, that's all looking good. I also
didn't save them the last time y'all painted.
I've got
the little filing drawer.
I've got all of my colors.
Yeah.
I saved them all in a document for the like bright colored walls, but white, no. So I've got it on there now, though. So if they ask me, I have it.
I hate that. I'm like you. I'm like,
Yeah. And then the other thing I would mention is we've been doing a lot of work like professional learning. We've had a couple of different things going on. We had our first MTSS alignment day. That was K-12. Went really well. We dug into our new math curriculum, and we're looking at where we address different standards. So Tasman's coming in. You know, we've had worked with them on our reading stuff, and they're here going to be coming in and working with us on math things just to make sure we're aligned, help us, you know, just with those, the process of how we can look at what we're doing and making sure that we're hitting those standards and making sure that we are focusing on the ones that are, is it major? Yeah, I think that's yes. So where we make sure that we might be hitting that, but if it is one of those major standards, we need to be hitting that several times. And so we'll be looking at that, the percentage of time that we work on different standards. So that went really well. And then also this morning, Mrs. Albright and Mrs. Stapp and I sat down and started working on our MTSS presentation. So through our work with Tasman the first time with reading, they did ask us to come and present at the symposium in September, I believe. So we've started that work brainstorming, and we will continue that, and then we will go and basically talk about our process with reading, and how we work with all tier levels in reading. So very exciting. We're staying busy. So.
And just to give you a little bit of flavor on the MTSS work itself, this next year, I mean, we're up and rolling with reading. That's what we're doing, right? And I'm very pleased with the leadership and the BLT, the building leadership teams, and just across the board, people have bought in, that's a good thing, because this is a different approach to how to go about making sure we meet the individual needs of each kid. Well, next we're doing ELA. Well, we take a year's worth of learning for the adults, so we don't just hop into it. So this next year, it's pretty intense. I'm sorry, it's math. It's pretty intense amount of times they come out, and then it'll be able to launch about this time next year. We'll say, all right, now we're getting ready to roll. So it is heady work, and it's a piece of, I'm very pleased with over the last 2 years or so, we've really solidified and got a more centralized approach of just what it is to have school in Holcomb. So there you go.
Thank you, Randy. All right, Mr. Helton. Dr. Helton.
I say, yeah. Doctor.
My board report, I put in a summary of behavior office referrals for the year. I did not have the state assessment summary done in time, but wanted to report a bit on that. Math was very strong. We gained 8 points, so I tracked them by cohort. So 8th grade gained 8 points composite on their previous year of testing. 7th grade did the same. 8 points is quite a bit. In 8th grade, our 8th grade cohort, which will now be freshmen, they're 6 points above the state average. So that was awesome to see. And then in ELA, modest growth. 7th grade had gained 2 points composite, and they had 2 of the 3 ELA grades had closed on the state averages, 4 points each. But we're still behind there. But that's why, mentioning MTSS, that's why we started with reading. That is our weaker area at the middle school. We showed growth, and we'll continue to grow next year, hopefully. And then science, our 8th grade science students, they matched the state average as well. So congratulations to the students on that growth, especially in math. That's awesome to see. That's not easily done. Thank you again for your support this year. I guess this is year 7. I give this speech every June, I think. But thank you again for your support, and I look forward to year 8. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add for Jerry?
I do. I want to highlight first his report he gave to you. He did a lot of exit interview information with students and staff, just basically on the initiative, the standards-based grading initiative, and their understanding of it. And the results, you've got them, are very positive. I mean, across the board with the staff, only one person gave it a 1. Everybody else gave it 3s and 4s. And with the students, I mean, you have the raw numbers of that. They know why we're doing it, and they seem to understand it as well. So that's a good thing. But the thing he wanted me to read to you is our spring sports teams finished on a really high note. Softball qualified for state, beating Cimarron in the regional championship. For the first time in school history, our girls won the first round game, moving them on to the second day of competition. They played really hard and earned 4th place in state. Our track team qualified several of its members to the state championships. The boys track team won the regional at Beloit. All our kids did a great job at state track, placing in several events. Our 4x800 boys set a new state record. That's pretty cool. And our boys team won the state team championship for the 2nd time in school history. So that's quite a celebration. Successful year. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move to unfinished business and property and casualty.
And this is yet another celebration, if you want to call it that. We had a really good school year. We really did. Then we got back from spring break. I was bored. Thought, let's have some fun. And so in a 2-day period, we found out about property and casualty insurance, and then we found out about health insurance and thought, all right, finally a challenge. Got something going on. Trent is here representing Iron Insurance for us. They lead the charge for us on helping get us property and casualty and then also work comp. It'll be 2 separate motions on this, actions on this. So the first presentation is about property and casualty. We'll finish that, then we'll move to work comp. I will give you a real thumbnail sketch of it, and I'm sure Trent can give you more. If you recall, EMC sent us that nastogram saying we're dropping you, and then did some research and find out, oh, no, wait, we're not dropping you. We're just going to give you some stipulations. Well, so Trent went to work with them, and they've given us 2 options. Option number 1, premium be at $286,000. This year it's $216,000. You'll say, well, that's not bad, until you dig into it. And you find out it's a 1% deductible. They will only, for roofs, actual cash value, which is a fancy way of saying they won't pay the full price. They depreciate it, right? So if you look on the sheet that you have there, Trent had supplied for me, if we were to lose the roof at the high school, we would have a $424,000 deductible. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's right. And then the others are listed there as well. So that's option 1. Option 2, they would take a $75,000 per occurrence deductible, and it raises the premium to $304,000. But once again, there's little parts of this. They want us to redo all our roofs, fairly quickly. And so that's hidden in this thing. You can't even see it there. So Trent took us out to the pool. It's KICS, part of the KSB pool, and got a bid from them for $366,248. That is a 69% increase over what we paid this last year for insurance. But as we go down this path, it is the right choice as far as I'm concerned, because it's a 3-year commitment, and they cannot kick anybody out. They cannot be non-renewed. If we go with, and here's where we're rolling the dice, if the board decides to go with EMC, nothing says they might not drop us next year. Their behavior this spring, in my mind's eye, was, I understand the business side of it, but I still don't like how it came down. If we go with EMC, there's a 3-year waiting period to get into the pool. So either get to the pool now or wait 3 years. And if we decide to go EMC, if the board decides to go to EMC, then a year from now, EMC says, no, we're dropping you. I don't know, Robin and Scott's insurance companies we'll get our insurance for. Let's see, what else is there to talk about? That's it. Trent, if you want to cover more about it.
Yeah. First off, I apologize for not on the leadership retreat, so not going to Colorado. No, I mean, you can see the numbers that we provided you. I hope that it makes sense, and I do want to explain it a little bit more in depth. I think that will help you guys understand where they're coming from. You can see the severity of property casualty insurance. I've been delivering a lot of high renewals, especially on property-driven risk, and this is a property-driven risk. And I think the theme, if I had to choose a theme, is what is your risk tolerance? How do you want to provide USD 363? Where's your risk tolerance when it comes to insuring the school district? So, like Dr. Meyer said, there are 3 options. EMC is providing 2 options. The KICS is providing 1. KICS stands for Kansas Insurance Cooperative of Schools. So it's not a one-size apples-to-apple comparison, and I am looking at this sheet. A more formal would be looking at this. If Dr. Myers provided this, you can kind of go through and see the coverage all the way through. The property is where 80% of it is, 70% of it is, and that's probably where the conversation is tonight. So like Dr. Meyer said, there are 2 options with EMC. So the first option is what you call a 1% per occurrence deductible. So, or per occurrence / per building deductible. So if the high school is hit, just the high school, you have 1% on that building. The building is valued at $42 million and some change. So that means that the 1% would be $420,000 deductible just for the high school before insurance kicks in. So anything less than that, you're self-insuring. If both the high school and the middle school are hit, then you're looking at $420,000 and a $178,000 deductible, because it's per building or per business personal property or property in the open. So the scoreboard, you would have a 1% deductible on that. You'd have a 1% deductible on the chain link fence. You'd have a 1% on everything. So as you can tell, that is very high deductible. If you have 4 schools that are hit, both elementary schools, the middle school, and the high school, you're looking around $1 million just for the deductible part before insurance kicks in.
Next.
So Dr. Myers on option 2, and I put an asterisk there, that is a per location deductible. So you have 6 main locations at USD 363. You have the bus barn, the administration office, and the 4 buildings, the 4 schools. So if the high school was hit, you would have a $75,000 deductible, and everything at the high school. So the football field, the chain link fence, the concession stand, once that's completed, the scoreboard, everything is covered under that $75,000. Then you would also, if the high school and the middle school were hit, you would have 75 at each location, as you can tell. And then the third option is KICS. You would have a flat $150,000 per occurrence deductible, which means when held deductible. Yes, district-wide. So if 4 buildings are hit, it would be a $150,000 deductible. If 1 building's hit, it would be a $150,000 deductible. Now, I do want to remind you that the main difference is how that deductible, or how that replacement, or how you would be put back in order is provided. So with EMC, if the roof is 15 years or less, they are offering replacement cost. If it's 15 to 35 years, it is ACV, which means it's depreciated. And I gave that example last board meeting, but just to refresh, it's like a vehicle. If you bought a $100,000 vehicle, it's now worth $60,000, you would get $60,000 back on ACV, actual cash value. If it's replacement cost, that $100,000 vehicle that you bought would now be maybe worth $110 or $115. So there's a big gap in there on the coverage when it comes to the roofs being over 15 years. And then obviously, if it's over 35 years, they're not offering property coverage on that building. So Holcomb Elementary School, I believe, is getting pretty close to that. And me and Dr. Myers just kind of talked about that, about what the plan was going forward. You don't want to replace it all. You can't probably next year, but if you could do that in pieces, we could go back to EMC and say, hey, this is the plan. This is our maintenance plan going forward. And they would probably agree to that. So last thing on that is, where was I going with that? Yeah, that's the biggest difference when it comes to the roof. So are there any questions on that?
I know the answer to this there, but so the quote that they are providing through KICS, is that locked in for the 3 years, or what's the differential in the percentage increase that you'd be seeing year to year?
That's a great question. It is year to year, so that year, or it could go up. I did ask our representative in Salina that we work with, coworker of mine. I asked her, hey, are they going to go to a percent deductible? And they said, not in the foreseeable future. That's what sets KICS apart from EMC right now, is they don't want to make those drastic changes. And like Dr. Myers and me talked, I think this is a 3-year commitment either way. What I mean by that is KICS, you are definitely locked in for 3 years. But if you go with EMC and then say, well, they drop it, or they come back and you say, well, they increase it too much next year, we want to get a different option, they're not going to come back and say we're going to quote it. So I would say at least 3 years, and it could be longer. They could say, hey, we get to 150 school districts in the state of Kansas, and that's our threshold. We're not going over that. And then EMC, they decide not to carry insurance in the state of Kansas for schools, and then we got to go to ENS, and that's going to be way more expensive. I mean, you're looking at 3 times probably on the property side. So,
any idea from talking to them there what those that have been in the pool now are seeing on a percentage increase?
I think it's comparable to everyone else, 15-20%, because these are property heavy driven risks. So I would say anywhere from 15 to 25% is kind of in the ballpark. The thing about KICS that is different than EMC is they negotiate with Lloyd's of London. So I don't know if they do that via conference or if they fly over to London, but it's how it's structured as Tetris. And I've seen that slideshow, and I've kind of tried to explain it, but they're not all your eggs are in one basket when it comes to this. One insurance carrier might be covering the first $1 million. The next one might be covering the next $2 million, but they're only covering that 33%. So it's just kind of Tetris all the way up.
Gotcha. Okay.
So when it comes to your volatility, I think there's less chance of it being as volatile as EMC has just shown us. I will like to know, going through this, and I don't know if you guys got time, it's pretty comparable, but if you look through this, the automobile is called what you call composite rating. They're not worried about their autos. So if you have a $50,000 bus that is coming and going throughout the school year, that doesn't change your premium. Or if you take a vehicle off, it's not going to change your premium. Same thing with liability. The liability limits through KICS are higher, 2 million, 4 million. D&O coverage is provided. You have 2 million right now. You're going to have 2 million on that. They do require you to have cyber liability, pollution liability, like I explained last time, crisis prevention or crisis protect is how we called it, and marine, that's in the packet. So like I said, the numbers aren't apples to apples. Umbrella, you don't need an umbrella through KICS because the limits are higher. So
it boils down to we have to have insurance. Like, statutorily, we have to have this kind of insurance. So then, and like Trent already said, it's our risk tolerance and or the faith we have that EMC will continue to work with us next year and the following year. If we choose not to go to KICS, you're waiting 3 years. They're not going to open the door again for 3 years. I don't have much faith in EMC, personally. My recommendation is you go with KICS, and even though it is at $366,000.
Yeah, I would make the motion that the board approve the bid from Iron Insurance for KICS for property and casual at the amount of $366,248.
There's Ryan, Ruda, and Curtis. It's been moved and seconded to go with the KICS program for property and casualty insurance for next year. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, now to workman comp.
All right, work comp. This is also something we have to have. We are suffering the ravages of some shock claims from 2 years ago. We had 3 shock claims, which basically means people had surgeries. We were going along quite nicely. Our mod is sub 1, and then 1 year pop. It went to 1.12. Next year it's going to be 1.49. The following year it's even going to be higher, just because it takes time for it to get out the door. Trying to keep this in a user-friendly spot, I guess. Our increase is only $4,414 to go from EMC to RAS. So we do, if you look at the second sheet that Trent gave you, we've become very active in trying to fix our work comp situation. We have a safety committee now that meets quarterly. We've had our insurance risk tolerant or risk loss people come out and do basically walk around the entire district and said, probably ought to put that away, label that. I mean, all these different things. We're doing them. And we're doing professional learning. And Trent was able to utilize that. If you look on the second sheet that you have regarding this information, they use that, in fact, our efforts with RAS to get things, to give us the benefit of our good works. And so it's keeping it at a 1.49. Well, it's keeping the rate down to $53,925. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about with that, Trent. But
yeah, the rates came back. It's actually a touch higher than that. Dr. Myers, right after I sent that email Friday afternoon, the new rates came. It's a little bit different. It's $55,583. So it's a $1,600 increase if I remember correctly. I don't have the old numbers. I just wrote it right here. I will say that Holcomb and Scott has done a great job on the risk, putting together a safety committee, making sure that the employees are safe in return of trying to save some premium dollars. That's the easiest way to save money is through work comp. Chad, who lives in Wichita, who works for Iron Insurance, came out. He did pretty much a safety walkthrough and just gave his recommendations. He's on the safety committee and helping Scott on that. Chad comes from the construction background where he was in charge of 400 plus employees, so he knows OSHA. He works with our bigger clients, so Holcomb is under that, and he's at your disposal, whether it's trips, slips, and falls, whether it's making sure you're climbing up the ladder correctly, anything along that, book bags in the aisles or in the hallways, little things like that. He sees that we would normally see too, but he sees it from the safety perspective. So very impressed with him. Holcomb was kind of the first or second job I worked with him on. So, and like Scott said, there's a 3-year policy period that it stays on your mod. So we kind of have to weather the storm. 2 years ago came on last year. It's on this year. We had another claim come on from this past year. So we're kind of weathering the storm. Last year we went with EMC because they were giving us a lot of credits, both on the property casualty side and on the work comp side. This year, going away from that, RAS is definitely more competitive. They did not fluctuate when it went up 0.37. So my recommendation would be go back to RAS. They do a lot of great things when it comes to school districts and the hospital side of things. But RAS is a really good company. Like Dr. Meyer said, it was at 0.74, a couple shot claims, took it to 1.12. Well, there is a deductible options, but at this time it doesn't make sense. So what you would have the deductible options is 500, 1,000, and that would be incorporated in, and you get some extra savings on that. I think we went to a $500 deductible that we looked at. It only saved $300 worth of premium. So one claim and it would already be in the red, if you will. So it doesn't make sense. I do think going forward, I think there's a room for that because Kansas is what you call a net reporting state. So if you have a claim of $10,000 and you have a $1,000 deductible, you're only reporting $9,000 of that. The first $1,000 is taken care of by USD 363. But at the time right now, the cost savings just doesn't make sense.
So it's 55.
It's
55,583.
Okay, 55,583.
The new
Right.
chart, yeah, the new rates came out literally last week, so we just got the premium update. So we made note of that in this big packet that the rates would change.
Mr. Jones,
Yes, Mr. Schreibogel.
I'll make the motion to go with RAS for the workers' compensation insurance through Iron Insurance at $55,583.
Second.
Ryan Schreibogel and Ryan Ruda. Been moved and seconded to approve the bid from RAS on workman's comp insurance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Thank you guys again for your partnership with Iron Insurance.
So reach out with, some signed paperwork and whatnot.
Yep, we'll get that over.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Trent. All right, let's move to another good one, health insurance.
If you thought that was fun, now, I got a topic for you now. Health insurance. Basically what I'm asking you to do, and I'll explain ad nauseum if you don't want me to. What I'm asking you to do is set up a special board meeting in the Wednesday the 12th, Thursday the 13th, Monday the 17th, or Tuesday the 18th, so as to make a selection for health insurance. Okay, the health insurance committee is coming together tomorrow, and the way it works in the district is health insurance committee represents the different buildings. They make a recommendation to me. I make a recommendation to the board. The board makes a choice. That's how you play this game. Ryan sits on the health committee, and he'll be at the meeting via Zoom or Teams, tomorrow. Our quotes came in the same. And so we did that early enrollment thing, with Cigna. And so we know the price for both at this point. It's for Blue Cross, it's gone from $600 per person per month to $972 per person per month, 62% increase. Angle, which then is shopping Cigna, and Cigna's one of the big four. It's good insurance. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. A single employee on Plan C would go from $600 to $732. But there are issues with that. In that, the policy year would start in July. So if it starts in July, there's a couple different things. Depends on what the board wants to do. If the board has the mindset to go ahead and pay the full single for somebody, we would need to reopen negotiations from last year to put more money to it. So just keep that in your mind. Also, like I said, the claims begin again. So anybody who's gone to the doctor, deductibles or whatever, they're not going to get the full benefit of 12 months worth of stuff. It'll be 10 months. So it starts over again in July. And the other question is the whole network piece of it. What networks work for us. You're not making a choice tonight, unless you want to. I do not advise it. We need to hear what the Health Committee has to say. They're working very hard in getting input from the staff. I know a general survey went out to everybody, basically saying, which would you prefer? Rather keep Blue Cross, even if it's much more expensive, or want to go this other way? It's just one pile of money. If you'll recall, our anticipated new revenues for next year come in at $500,000. Now that's dependent on enrollment and all that kind of stuff, but that's what we expect. If you project forward on the Blue Cross, that's $514,000. On the Cigna, it'd be $182,000. So if you're just looking at pure math, it's not a really hard decision. But I think there's other things that go into play.
And that's if we pay for the single.
Yeah, if you choose to. I mean, it's a negotiated item, and currently it says $600. And I would never advise the board to say we'll pay a single policy, because then you don't have any control over that. But if the board is interested in continuing to throw money to insurance, do it by a dollar amount. But that has to be negotiated. And particularly, it makes things go pretty fast. If the choice is to go to Cigna, we would need to get last year's negotiations opened if the board is interested in doing that. And if not, then anybody who's on the insurance will take an immediate $132 per month cut starting in July. Okay. We have, like I said, we're having our health insurance committee meeting tomorrow. I've heard anecdotally from people saying they would like to stay with Blue Cross, but anecdotally that's not science. And so I expect to have better information after the meeting on tomorrow. I know it's being taken very seriously by people, of course it is. But to put this thing to bed, we need to have another meeting in one of those dates that I threw to you. So that's it, Mr. Jones, for this topic, except for the fact that I recommend we hold a special board meeting in the next week or so for the final determination on the health insurance plan for next year. That won't set the dollar amount. That's a negotiated item. It'll set we're going to Blue Cross, or it'll set we're going to Cigna.
514,000 though is if we were to go all in, paying the 972.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, I'm giving you the most
Worst
conservative
case.
dollars
Right.
forecast I can give you.
Awesome. All right.
What day do you want to do it?
Because I vote for Monday morning. I won't be here then. Is that the 18th,
I'll zoom in.
That's the 17th.
17th?
I'm out.
What was the date? Anytime after tomorrow, basically.
Anytime after tomorrow. Well, yeah. Wednesday the 12th, Thursday the 13th, Monday the 17th, Tuesday the 18th. The next negotiated session is the 20th. So this needs to be done before the 20th.
I'm out next week, but I can zoom in if that works.
I'm gone Monday and maybe Tuesday.
What about Wednesday and Thursday of this week?
I'm here cleaning basements.
I see this. Yeah, I mean, it's impossible. It's never fun to chase calendars, but let's just do it this way. Does Wednesday the 12th work for anybody? Let's just work down the list.
Works for me.
Yeah.
I can make it work. What time?
We can't do
Shut the place.
it. We can't do it without Robin. Yeah. Mike's.
So what time do you want to do it? We are at a budget hearing, budget workshop all day on Wednesday. We'll be back by 4:30.
6 o'clock?
I could do it in the evening better than I can the day. So
What day? Thursday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
6, 7.
Sure.
But that it's gotta be 6 or before. I won't be able to make it Wednesday, but I could do 6.
You do 6?
6.
6.
Okay, then this needs to come in the form of a motion, please.
Okay.
And depending on how you make the motion, if you name what it's for, we cannot adjust the agenda. If you just say a special board meeting, we can add other things. I have no other things to add to the agenda, though.
not yet.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir?
I move that we have a special board meeting at 6 PM on Wednesday,
Okay.
a very short one.
I'm going to second very short.
Okay, I have a motion. Oh, Ryan Travelgle. All right, it's been moved and seconded to hold a special board meeting Wednesday,
At home, what day is that?
12th.
Wednesday the 12th at
Let's check that for somebody, make sure it is.
6 o'clock. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So we're not really even going to get a break from this boardroom, but like a day. So
You get a day off.
we get a day off. All right. Well, let's move on to, geez, student athlete insurance.
Something we've done for many, BS, before Scott, you've had this for a long time. I would recommend you continue doing it. It's, student and athletic insurance. The bid came in $51 more than it was last year. I recommend, and you have the historical information, what they paid out through the years. So last year only $805 worth of claims to date. I recommend the board purchase the low option student accident insurance coverage from K&K Insurance and include the $1 million catastrophic coverage for the total cost of $11,021.45.
So move.
Second.
Sean and Ryan Ruda. It's been moved and seconded to approve the low option student accident insurance coverage from K&K Insurance and include $1 million catastrophic coverage for the total cost of $11,021.45. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, student drug testing program contract.
Yes, the board policies, we have the drug testing program, and so we need to have a contract to test and to operate this program. This is the same group with whom we've worked since we started the program itself. The increased costs of testing and whatnot, it's remained flat for the first 3 years of our experience, or existence, 4 years, 5 years. The new contract is the amount of $5,760. That's up about a little over $1,000 from last year. Information for you, just for giggles. Our positive rate this last year was 8.87. That means we had 11 positives, 10 of which were nicotine related. One was oxycodone related. Last year, our positivity rate was 4.38. So we went from 4.38 to 8.87. The national average is 4.3. So those are not numbers and data that we really like to see or hear, but I recommend the approval of the new contract for student drug testing with sports safe testing services for $5,760.
Save money here.
So moved.
Ryan Travagel and Sean. Been moved and seconded to approve the testing, or the contract with sports safe testing services. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, overnight trips.
We have two more, should be the last two, overnight trips for coming forth to the board for approval. It's from the high school wrestling program, boys and girls. Boys are wanting to go to June 16 through 19 to Kearney, Nebraska. 9 kids will go along, 9 athletes. Women's wrestling, June 25, 29, going to Gothenburg, Nebraska. I don't know why everybody goes to Nebraska for wrestling camps, but okay. For 5 to 10 students. I recommend the board approve those overnight trip requests as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan Travagel and Sean. It's been moved and seconded to approve the overnight trips as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, new business. Time to close the FY24 financials.
It's this annual event that happens in every district in the state of Kansas. It's a normal procedure. Basically, we're coming to you tonight saying I would like recommend a motion to be made to allow the superintendent authority to close the district's financial books at the end of the 24 fiscal operations and make the recommended transfers. We have enjoyed yet again a very successful business year, and even though we've just gone through a couple pretty big kicks in the shin, since we've had such a successful year, we will weather this. We'll be okay, and you'll get more information about this as the evening goes on. Anyway, it's same old what we do. We get as much money as we possibly can out of out of general fund and LOB, and get it transferred over to capital outlay or contingency reserve or any of the other ones where we want to put it. This particular year, I'm interested in putting it into capital outlay, and I'll explain that to you later on. So I'm just seeking authority to close the district's financial books.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan Ruda and Sean. It's been moved and seconded to allow the superintendent authority to close the district's financial books for the 2024 fiscal year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. HRC board appointment.
We have an opening on the Holcomb Rec Board, and it's, the school board appoints. You have two. First time in my career, you've had two people come forward wanting to play. You have a letter from Cole Crawford and a letter from Trent Bailey. They both have young kids in the district. Sounds like they're both involved in a lot of variety of things. I don't know. I know Cole sorta. I don't know Trent Bailey, but they're interested. Their letters are well written. They've got kids in the system. You can't go wrong.
We can't go with both of them, because both of them, I work with Trent, and Cole's my neighbor.
One
Both
of them
of
will be on the school board.
them. Excellent. Excellent. What do you say?
I said, does one of them want to be on the school board? Make a deal.
So anyway, I'm impressed with both apps. You just need to pick one. You only get to choose one. I'm sorry.
I think both of them would be good candidates and work hard at it.
So who do you recommend? Oh, put him on the spot.
The only last piece to tell you, and I'm not vying for.
I work with Trent, and Trent's our sales manager at Nurse Shore. And like I said, his wife's a nurse, and they good with families and do participate in all the athletics events and stuff. Cole does too, so.
Yeah, the only difference I see at all is Cole's a lifelong member of the community. Seems that Trent moved here recently.
Yeah.
It's 2016.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, but grew up in Spearville, so he's used to small town America, and that's in his letter. Cole happens to be married to Keisha. It's our data person.
What's your motion?
I'm gonna say I move we pick one of them.
Yeah.
Both of them are just good guys. I wish we could put them both on. They would both help that. I mean,
We should have them here and they could rock, paper, scissors for it.
I recommend you accept the application from Cole Crawford.
I'll make that motion.
Brian Schreibvogel,
Second.
Ryan Ruda. Been moved and seconded to accept the application of Cole Crawford, correct? To the appointment to HRC Board of Directors. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Food service program.
Okay, we're gonna knock down some things here. We've got 4 different food service things for you to take care of. They're each yearly things we do. One is just basically it's the food service program acknowledgement. It's requested that we make a motion as requested to approve continued participation in the federal school lunch program for the 24-25 school year. What that gets for us is it subsidizes free and reduced meals for kids. So to me, it's free money. It's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned.
I'll make that motion to continue participation in the federal school lunch program.
Ryan Schreibvogel. And Sean.
Dies for a second.
Moved and seconded to approve continued participation with the federal school lunch program for the 24-25 school year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, meal prices.
Yeah, I'm recommending slight increases on the prices of some of the meals. You got a list here. Basically up a nickel for the majority of them. Breakfast entrees up a dime. Lunch entrees up 15 cents. Some things are staying the same. Monica and Keisha and Mike run a nice tight ship, but increasing food costs and other related items are what's driving this. Last year we did not raise the prices whatsoever. And just so you're aware, Monica gave me all sorts of good information. We are right in the middle with what we charge people versus the area districts. So it's, we're right in the ballywick with it. So I recommend a motion is requested to approve the meal prices as presented for 24-25 school year.
So moved.
Ryan Ruda and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to approve the meal prices as presented for the 24-25 school year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, food service bids.
It takes board action to accept the bids that we want to bring forward to you, and this is once again to keep our costs in line. Once again, Monica does a really nice job on this, and so she's recommending we go with Highland, we go through the Greenbush Food Purchasing Co-op, it's F&A, and for other supplies we go with Cashwa. This is a yearly event, and it's important we do this to keep things as efficient and as frugal as possible. I recommend the board approves of the recommendations to provide food products and other supplies as presented for the 24-25 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Ruda and Shrivogel. It's been moved and seconded to approve the recommendations to provide food products and supplies as presented for the 24-25 school year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, food service procurement program.
So annually, the board has to address the requirement of maintaining a food service procurement plan. You just did it. I mean, well, you got to approve this, but you just address the evidence of what we do with food service procurement plan. And basically it boils down to we have to get the best deals we can find. And so the way we do that is we're in a food purchasing co-op, and then we go through a bidding process. So I recommend approval of the 2024 food service procurement plan as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan Shrivogel and Ryan Ruda. Been moved and seconded to approve the 2024 food service procurement plan as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, middle school student handbook adjustment.
Basically, it boils down several years back. The rule went into play where middle school kids couldn't carry backpacks to class, keep hallways clutter-free, and so people didn't walk in with miscreant things in their backpacks. So what happened over time is the students, they don't want to carry, they'd shove it into a different kind of bag. Well, the bag they're shoving it into were the Chromebook bags. Well, they're not built for that, and so they were failing to the tune of $7,000 a year if we kept replacing them. So basically it boiled down to said, I'm not doing that anymore. So we need to figure something out. And so Tyler worked with his leadership team, or probably his entire staff for that matter, and looking to adjust their handbook to say students will be allowed to carry a clear and or transparent backpack from class to class. The backpack must be the size that will fit into a standard school locker. So,
Are these going to hold up any better?
well, because they're going to buy them. They're going to go on Amazon and they're going to buy their own backpacks, but we can see into them. So.
You got to do that if you go to K-State games. See through purses.
Yeah.
Anyway, I recommend the adjustment.
I'll make the motion.
Curtis
Second.
and Ryan Shrivogel moved and seconded to approve the adjustments to the middle school student handbook as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
20 minutes, Mr. Jones.
20 minutes. All right. Who all do we need? Just you, or do we need somebody?
Yeah, we'll need Tyler. We'll start off with Tyler.
All right. So I need a motion to go into executive session for 20 minutes at 7:05 to include, or 8:05, thank you. To include Dr. Myers and
Principals as needed.
principals as needed.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan Ruda and Ryan Shrivogel. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Turn your horn.
Tyler, just kind of wander around, come back in 5 minutes. Or just take
Mic's on. Mic's on, mic's off. Pop. Hopefully my wife's got the basement all sucked up.
Got Hallie working.
And she's in, but Paige was.
Okay,
All right, we are back in session. I need a motion to hire Roxanne Durpo as a sixth grade science teacher.
So move.
Second.
Curtis and Ryan Ruda. It's been moved and seconded to hire Roxanne. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. I need a motion to hire the supplementals as presented.
So move.
Second.
Curtis and Ryan Schreibogel. It's been moved and seconded to approve the supplementals as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'd like to make the motion, have Mike Davis second it, that we give the board members all bonuses. Oh, wait, we can't do that, can we, Mike? I can't make a motion, you can. I'm sorry.
So we're done now?
That's all I have.
All right, I need a
Talking
motion
about
to,
this.
I need a motion to adjourn.
I got plenty of eggs.
Nobody has done that, by the way, in the state of Kansas yet. No boards are being paid.
Chickens.
Somebody's gotta be
I don't want
Yep. Let's not be that person. All right, I need a motion to adjourn before we get in trouble.
Yes.
Ryan Ruda and Ryan Schreibogel. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?